So here we are, what I feel is probably going to be another bad day for Marylanders in Annapolis. My fellow sheriffs are here with me today to fight this legislation. It's bad enough that last week the governor signed the bill to kill every 287G program in the state of Maryland to increase the risk of crime and public safety, criminals coming into Maryland. But now this new bill takes away every avenue we had to cooperate and work with ICE outside of the 287 agreements. It's unbelievable they would think this way. They want to do everything they can to handcuff law enforcement, handcuff sheriffs across the state. I can tell you our program in Frederick County of 18 years was an effective program. We deported criminals. We worked with ICE without one single complaint of profiling or discrimination. It was a seamless, safe program. We turned criminals over to ICE in our jail with no threat to the public, to the officers, or the detainee. So again, this is unbelievable. They would think this way, and we're going to do everything we can to fight against it. So I'll take some questions afterward. I'll turn it over to Sheriff Lewis.
Good morning, Sheriff Mike Lewis, Wicomico County. As Sheriff Jenkins just said, last week Governor Wes Moore signed a bill abolishing the 287G program across the state of Maryland. But what the governor did do is he put out a directive to all municipalities and sheriffs across the state. And he made it very clear, this law does not prevent localities or sheriffs from continuing to notify ICE about the impending release of an individual of interest from local custody or coordinating the safe transfer of custody within constitutional limits. What this new legislation will do that's being proposed today that we're up here to testify in opposition of will eliminate everything and contradict everything the governor just told us we could still do. They want to strip us of our ability to protect our counties, our jurisdictions, our people, what we've been sworn to do. We made it very clear, and I want to make it very clear again. The passage of Senate Bill 245, the passage of any additional legislation, does absolutely nothing to abolish ICE from working in our communities. All it's going to do is amp ICE up on the streets and going out looking for individuals that we could have otherwise transferred safely into their custody and our local detention facilities. Now ICE has to go out into our communities and in many cases kick doors in, and in many cases in the absence of a search warrant they can do that legally and constitutionally. And they're going to go in these homes, not only going to get the individual they're looking for, but everyone else in the house that are otherwise hardworking individuals trying to make a better life for themselves, but they're in this country illegally, they're undocumented, and they're only undocumented because they're in our country illegally. Now they all go, not just the one individual they're looking for, but everyone else they've identified as being in our country illegally, they all go. But look at the trauma that's going to be experienced by the children in that household. Again, what ICE is doing is legal, it's lawful, and it's constitutionally sound. But it's only going to amp up what they're going to be doing in our communities. We want to work closely with ICE. We want to transfer them over in the safe, secure environment that is our detention centers. And what this bill will do, 660, will strip our ability to do just that. And we have sheriffs behind me right now from all over the region, every region throughout the state. Southern Maryland, Northern Maryland, Western Maryland, and the Eastern Shore. And we stand in solidarity against this ridiculous legislation that they continue to introduce up here in Annapolis. And for those who don't know, we have a very tenured state senator who's not running for re-election, and he said one of the main reasons he's sick and tired of what they're doing up here for no other reason than to poke their fingers in the eyes of Washington, D.C. Folks, this is nothing more than politics over public safety. And we as elected sheriffs are fed up with it. You don't see this many sheriffs in one location in the state at any given time. But we have to come together in unison to stop the ridiculousness that's going on up here in Annapolis, Maryland. And lawmakers need to wake up and realize Marylanders and the American people want public safety over politics, and they're not getting it. Sheriff Crisafulli, do you want to make some comments?
I just want to thank my fellow sheriffs for also being here. I think it's extremely important that everyone understands that sheriffs are constitutional officers that are elected by the residents of their county. And this type of legislation is taking away that local autonomy that we have. We answer to the residents that we serve. And these types of bills are extremely dangerous when you are trying to take away our ability to cooperate and communicate with law enforcement partners, whether that's federal partners or whether that's local partners. In order to keep Maryland communities safe, there has to be effective communication. And just in some discussions with some sheriffs that are behind me today, and as we indicated, we're standing in solidarity, I spoke to one of them recently, and they said that their constituents did not want the 287G program to dissolve because of the fact that it was a safe, controlled transfer. The residents in that community wanted, as any residential area would want, a safe, controlled transfer. And when you take those away, as we've already heard, there is going to be an uptick. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. There will be an uptick in all Maryland communities now that you are taking away a very direct and controlled transfer. We just ask Maryland residents, stand with your law enforcement officers as people are trying to take away our resources and our local ability to protect our Maryland communities. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and I thank my fellow sheriffs for their solidarity.
Sheriff Brian Albert from Washington County. As you've heard, we're standing in solidarity. I've been coming to Annapolis in one way or another. First as an FOP president 25 years ago. We used to build relationships with legislators, senators, delegates, Speaker of the House, President of the Senate, and they relied on our expertise on law enforcement matters. And now we don't have that relationship. The people in Annapolis think that the hundreds of years, maybe thousands, that we have back here behind me, they know better than what we're doing. And we would just hope that the legislators would, take our suggestions and not pass these two bills today. And thank you very much.